Hello BookTube. Today I'm doing the NaNoWriMo tag. It was created by Christina Horner, and I'll have the link to her video down below along with Steve Donahue's rendition of the tag, because that's the first time I saw it, and Mark Richardson of Richardson Reads. Hopefully I remember to put them all down there. So, on to the questions. How many times have you done NaNoWriMo? This will be my second attempt. I use attempt because I tried it last year and I started on one project, could not get the first scene written how I wanted it, and so I switched to a different project. It took off a little bit better, but since it was in NaNoWriMo, I didn't have time to do any prep work, any outlining, any planning. So there came a point where I got, where am I going with this? I have kind of an idea of where I want this story to go, but how to get there, I had no idea. So I dropped it. So I'm doing it this year. Hopefully this year will be more successful. How did you first find out about NaNoWriMo? I've known about it for a few years. I want to say it might have been like a reference on the Blackgate website, or something collated by I am completely I'm completely blanking on the website at the moment. So Blackgate in the early 2000s was a magazine focusing on heroic fantasy or sword and sorcery. Within the last few years, it's transitioned to an exclusively blog site with no new fiction published. And I think some of the bloggers there have mentioned NaNoWriMo. And then there was another science fiction site that I think went down 4 or 5 years ago that had some SF Signal, that's the name of the website, would do like daily roundup of science fiction and fantasy news. And I might have heard about it there. What was the name of the first novel you attempted with NaNoWriMo? It's the Fates of Chaos. Is the eventual title of the revised project I did. Still trying to figure it out. Give us a one-sentence summary of what you're writing this year. A student sorcerer flees from... No, let me rephrase that. Fleeing with his master's secrets, a young sorcerer must confront his master's failures and protect his legacy from those who would destroy it, basically. What's the best writing advice you've ever been given? Just write. Steve Donahue, when he does his writing videos, pretty much boils down his advice to just write. Did you ever take a year off from NaNoWriMo? Why? Well, since this is my second year, I haven't taken off a year. Now, if you want to get technical and like dropping out because I hit the um, block and got so frustrated, I'm like, I need to take a break, then yeah, I kind of checked out midpoint last year. Hopefully, I don't check out at some point this year. Although, since I've talked in my last update on NaNoWriMo that I'm a little bit frustrated with the project, that I'm not happy with it, where it's going, that I'm largely viewing this year's NaNoWriMo not as finishing this particular project, because I fully intend to gut it, take the plot and the characters and move them to a different setting that better complements them, and then saving this setting and character names for another project, and try to slowly build up the world building rather than just pants the world building. What's your biggest inspiration when figuring out what to write? What I've read. Generally, it's what I'm reading, what I'm watching. Not so much like my own life, although there are some bits of my own life that kind of serves a little bit of inspiration, but it's mostly what I've read, histories, that sort of thing. Yeah. Read us the first sentence from one of your novels. Well, let me see if I can go ahead and open up the story, and I'll read you the first sentence from the story I'm working on, which is currently untitled. I did come up with a pretty good, I think it's a pretty good title idea, but I'm checking the waters and seeing what other people think. Excuse me. My writing program sometimes takes a while to load. Probably should get a new computer, but as I answer my master's summons, the sturdy new door to his study opens of its own volition. That's the first chapter. Not terribly happy with that. Initially, what I wanted to have is start with a scene of him performing a magical task. But the more I thought about it, the more there's certain events that kind of need to happen first, that holding off for a few, there's a timing issue, that there's a chunk of buildup that should probably come first, and then speeding up the inciting incident. And so I kind of put that as the first chapter, and then the scene that I intended to start as the first chapter as the second chapter. So let's go back to the questions. Why do you love writing? I mean, when it goes well, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, when writing goes well, there's an exhilaration. There's just a zone you get into that produces an amazing euphoric experience. I mean, it's the same thing with art. When you're in that zone, just amazing feeling. I also enjoy creating new worlds and new stories, and just putting characters together and all that stuff. So that was the NaNoWriMo Tag. If you haven't already done it, please do so. And I will speak to you again soon. Thank you, BookTube and AuthorTube. I keep forgetting AuthorTube, but yeah. So have a good day.